Dear students, in this video, we are going to talk about the enigmatic figure, the very puzzling character of Godot. We, as a student of waiting for Godot, know that this character, this figure of Godot, is very baffling. It has baffled the critics, the scholars, the experts of Beckett, and it has also baffled the readers and the audiences also. Who is Godot has always been a very puzzling, has always been a very mysterious question. This question has always baffled the minds of the critics, the scholars, and we, the ordinary audiences and the ordinary readers of Beckett. It has been suggested that Godot maybe is the diminutive form or the weakened form of God. The term Godot may also suggest Godot. Dear students, this Godot is a character in Balzac's play titled Mercadet, Mercadet. Dear students, according to different theories given in the name of Godot, there are several interpretations, there are several explanations with regard to this very puzzling, enigmatic character of Godot. One such theory suggests a supernatural invention, that Godot in the play is perhaps representing a sort of a supernatural intervention. It stands for a mythical figure whose arrival may change the situation for the two tramps, Estragon and Vladimir. Dear students, Godot is certainly a very baffling character, a very mysterious character. That the very name Godot gives the title of the play. Godot gives the title to the play. Still, he does not appear even once in the whole play. So it seems, my dear students, that Vladimir and Estragon might have met him somewhere earlier. It has been suggested in the play, it has been hinted in the play that Vladimir and Estragon might have met him somewhere earlier. And Estragon in the play claims that he would not be able to recognize him if he saw him. Vladimir also has spoken to him earlier. It has been suggested in the play. Yet he asks the messenger boy whether Godot has a beard or not. And if Godot has a beard, of which color the beard is. So, my dear students, a few critics hold the view that Godot does appear in the play. And there are a few critics who has given this idea that Godot does appear in the play. But can you recall that were you able to identify anybody like Godot coming in the play? No, you cannot. So we as ordinary reader, we as ordinary audience of the play are unable to identify. Even the tramps also, the two tramps inside the play are also unable to identify him. But there are a few critics, of course, a very few critics who have the view that Godot does appear in the play Some critics identify him with the character of Pozo, and some critics identify him with the character of Lucky. But, my dear students, to most of us as ordinary audience, Godot seems to be a puzzle. Godot seems to be a mirage. Godot seems to be a very baffling thing in the play, a very enigmatic thing in the play. If you recall that at the end of both the acts, messenger boy comes in a state of Godot. So in both the acts, at the end of both the acts, two messenger boys were sent by Godot in a state of Godot coming to coming to the place where Stragon and Vladimir were waiting for him. And those two messenger boys came and simply informed Vladimir and Stragon, and of course the audience also, that Godot will not come today, but he will certainly come tomorrow. Dear students, we are informed in Act 1 that he does not beat the messenger boy who was a goat herd, but he certainly beat the other messenger boy who was a shepherd. So, you can recall this incident in the play where Vladimir, perhaps, if I'm not wrong, asks the messenger boy that how Godot behaves with the messenger boy. How does he beat him? And the messenger boy says, no, he does not beat me, but he beats my brother. So, dear students, the two tramps feel very uneasy about Godot. They are very uneasy that what they will do when the opportune time comes. I mean, when Godot appears before them. They are very confused. They are very uneasy what they will say, what they will ask for, how they will act or how they will react when Godot appears in front of them. So they are uneasy about it. When the opportune time comes, they will have to go in front of him. They will have to do their hands like this. They have to go in front of him with their knees. What they have to say, what they have to ask for. They are very confused. They are very uneasy about it. And even they are also confused and they are very uneasy about this also, that what will happen if they stop waiting for Godot. Will they be punished by him? What will happen to them if they stop waiting for Godot? So, dear students, this character of Godot possesses several characteristics. It possesses several traits that is very common with the image of God. Dear students, the image of God as presented either in the Old Testament or in the New Testament. You can recall our discussions in our earlier videos also, in which we referred to these kind of situations, in which Godot in Act 1 is a very different kind of a god, a very violent, cruel god of the Old Testament, like Jehovah in Act 1, and a very inactive, a very passive, a very a god who has lost his power kind of thing in Act 2, a god of like the New Testament. So his white beard reminds us of the old fatherly aspect of God. His irrational preferences for one of the two brothers can also be a reference to Jehovah's treatment of the two sons of Adam named Abel and Cain, or Cain and Abel, you can say like this. So his power to punish those who ignore him is also hinted in the play. And his doing nothing sort of an attitude, a God who has become inactive, a God who has become almost like dead, right? So his doing nothing kind of attitude has also been hinted in the play. And it also hints about man's forlorn existence in this universe. And you can also recall, my dear students, when Vladimir and Estragon would have expected from Godot, what they would have expected from Godot? Food, shelter. So, what Vladimir and Estragon would have expected from Godot in the form of food or shelter, these are provided to man by God. So, dear students, it appears to us that perhaps the this enigmatic Godot, and through this character of the enigmatic Godot, Beckett is hinting towards the concept of God. And at this juncture, I would like to say that it appears to me that in the play Beckett is not basically dealing with God with the character of or through the character of Godot, but rather he is basically presenting the very idea, he is basically presenting the very concept of God through this character of Godot. When we refer to the character of Godot, we may also say that he is symbolic of death. He represents death. But dear students, we have rejected this idea also earlier, saying that it is impossible for God, for death to inform somebody. So the two tramps wait for him endlessly. But death never comes informing. Death never comes telling that it is coming. But dear students, you can also see this concept of Godot representing death in one very important opinion expressed by a critic. According to that opinion, death does come on a fixed appointed time. Death does come on a fixed appointed time. But there are unfortunate souls in the world, there are unfortunate people in the world who keep on waiting for death to come to them, to get rid of pain, to get rid of worldly sufferings, to get rid of miseries and troubles of the world. So, dear students, the character of God is both ambiguous and mysterious. He seems to represent several ideas. This character of Godot seems to represent several ideas. And one such idea is that of a superstitious God and a superstitious religion. One such idea also is about like the exploitation of the have-nots by the haves of the society. So Godot keeps the two tramps waiting for long, but he even does not think it necessary to show his regret that he is not coming. And even he does not think it necessary to tell the reason of his not coming. He simply sends two messengers in the two acts and tell them and inform them that he is not coming. So, and even if he comes, just imagine that Godot might have come in the play. So even if he comes, there seems no basis for any kind of hope for Vladimir and Estragon. In fact, it seems that they are not very clear about what they will ask for if Godot appears before them, what they will request to him if he appears to them, and whether their request will be granted or not. So we are not sure about all these things. It appears as if they are waiting because of some compulsion. It appears as if they are waiting just because of some sort of a fear or some sort of an obligation. And there is no hope for them. The two tramps treat Godot like a god to whom one only make a vague prayer and cannot say anything very precisely, cannot say anything very physically, very emphatically, and can only make discreet prayers. So if you can recall that very situation in which they say that if Godot appears, what they will ask for. I'll just reading out that part of the passage in which Estragon asks, "What exactly did we ask from him, for him?" And Vladimir says, "Were you not there?" Estragon says, "I can't have been listening." Vladimir says, "Oh, nothing very definite." And Estragon asks, "A kind of prayer?" Vladimir says, "Precisely." Estragon asks, "A vague supplication?" And Vladimir says, "Exactly." Estragon asks, "And what did he reply?" Vladimir says that he would see. And Estragon asked that he could not promise anything. Vladimir says that he would have to think over it. So with this passage, you can very simply guess that even they were not very sure, the two tramps are not very sure what they will say, what they will ask if Godot appears in front of them. So, dear students, to conclude my discussion here, I would like to say that this name, this very word Godot, also appears to be a sort of a bilingual pun, right? This word Godot comes from the word Godeu, the German Godeu, right? Sorry, very sorry, the French word Godeu. And Godeu has this mixing of God plus eau, which stands for water. So it's a bilingual pun on God and water. So, in spite of all these conjectures, in spite of all these guesses that we were making in this discussion, in this video, we cannot say for sure that what Godot actually stands for, what Godot actually represents, and what does Beckett mean when he created this character of Godot. And dear friends, it's not very safe to associate the character of Godot with God also. Because do remember that Beckett in his own life was not a believer in religion. He was not a believer of institutionalized faith. And so were his two characters also. I mean, Vladimir and Stragon were also not believers in God. So, my dear students, to regard Godot as God is not a very safe thing. To regard Godot as God, to present Godot as God, will be a sort of a reversal of all those existentialist and all those absurdist ideas that have been presented in the play. So, with this, I stop my discussion today. Thank you very much.